We've got Sophie Cunningham getting her own shoe, and everybody losing their pathetic little minds over it. Well, not everybody. Old WNBA fans, old guard WNBA fans, are losing their mind over the white girl pointing at her brand new shoes. Yeah, that's what she's pointing at.
Sophie Cunningham just got her own shoe, a player-exclusive colorway of the Adidas Crazy Energy, dropping July 24th for $120. Pink to white gradient, light blue mesh panels, orange accents on the midsole, her name on it, her design. And the internet absolutely lost its mind.
These old fans crash out, lose their mind, and scream white privilege. It is hilarious watching these people melt down over the most minuscule things, over the smallest little things. Watching these folks melt down, go hysterical, lose their mind, rant, rave, complain. Oh my God, I can't believe it.
Not because people were happy for her, no, because a very specific group of people cannot stand it. They were furious. Comments flooded in, threads went up, hot takes got posted, and all of it, every single one of those opinions, proved exactly one thing: Sophie Cunningham is living inside their heads rent-free, and she has been for a while now.
Sophie Cunningham, the blonde bomber, is coming out with shoes. These are so dope. These are her PE colorways coming out with Adidas. Oh my God, Sophie Cunningham, man, just keeps getting better and better by the day, man. I hope these are for men as well, man, because I would like to cop these, man. These are hella dope. Very Sophie type of shoes, man. Like, I don't know. I just look at these and I just see Sophie just all over them, man. These are perfect. And
today, we are breaking down the shoe, the hate, why most of that hate says more about the haters than about Cunningham, and why this shoe is going to sell very, very well, regardless of what the comment section thinks.
Sophie Cunningham shoe, a PE for Sophie Cunningham got announced. A player exclusive, player edition, whatever PE stands for. She's got her own kind of shoe style. It's coming out. And man, these old guard bitter fans, they are collapsing right in front of our very eye. They're going through a mental breakdown, a psychotic break right before our very eye.
To understand why people are so worked up about this shoe, you have to understand who Sophie Cunningham has become over the last 12 months, because this is not a player who suddenly appeared. She has been in the WNBA since 2019. She spent 6 seasons in Phoenix, she moved to Indiana in 2024, and for most of that time, she was a good rotation player. Tough, reliable, a solid three-point shooter, someone who makes winning plays, useful, but not the person everyone was talking about.
Really, DB is the one that did something extra, and then Caitlin got the text. So I walked out there and I was literally talking to the ref. Say you're DB. I was like this with the ref. I was like, now Caitlin got one, but why didn't she get one? Because if Caitlin's gonna get one, then she should have got one. It shouldn't have been one or the other. And I was just kind of pointing, and she's like, don't you point at me. And I was like, oh, shouldn't have said that. And I didn't say a word.
And then June 22nd, 2026 happened. Borna got into it with Caitlin Clark. Cunningham stepped in. And when Borna told her to stop pointing, Cunningham pointed longer for 22 full seconds. Staff had to physically redirect her toward the bench. Both players got technicals and the clip hit the internet like a freight train. It reached the WWE, IT reached the White House, IT became the meme of the WNBA season. People were overlaying it with music and movie scenes and everything else, and just like that, Sophie Cunningham became one of the most recognizable athletes in women's sports, not because of a stat line, but because she stood her ground and kept pointing when everyone expected her to back down.
About where you're going to take this next, like what? Because how do we grow the points? What could it be? Do you know what I mean? Have you given this any thoughts?
I didn't even give.
By December 2025, Google released its annual year-end search list, the 10 most searched athletes. In the United States, Cunningham came in at #7. She was the only female athlete in the top 10. She had just knocked Caitlin Clark out of the top spot among women. Let that sink in. So when Adidas looked at their roster and said, who do we build a shoe around? They were not guessing, they had the data, and the data pointed right at Sophie Cunningham.
Cunningham's signature shoe, I'm not gonna lie, this shoe looks amazing, man. I might have to get me a pair. Now, I don't really have anything pink, so that means I'll probably have to go out and get me a pink shirt or some pink shorts or something, just so it can go with this, man, because these shoes are
The shoe itself is genuinely good looking. The upper starts hot pink at the toe and fades gradually to white. Near the heel, the light blue details run through the mesh side panels and show up again in the 3 stripes. Branding on the tongue and heel, orange accent hits on the midsole and outsole give it contrast. IT is a bold design. Loud, unapologetic, very on brand for a player who stood at a free throw line in Phoenix, her former home, and pointed at an entire arena after hitting the free throws that sealed a Fever Road win. The shoe looks exactly how you would expect Sophie Cunningham's shoe to look, and here is something worth knowing: Adidas has not had a WNBA player with a signature level shoe since Candace Parker. Cunningham is the first player in years to get this kind of treatment from them. That is not a small thing.
People are in their feelings and upset. They always in their feelings and upset if anything that's connected to Caitlin Clark has anything positive going on. But when it comes to shoes, y'all do know, and I'm talking to all the people way in the back that just don't understand, y'all do know that this is business, right? And when it comes to WNBA players, right, Sophie Cunningham is top 5 in followers on every platform when it comes to WNBA players. So yes, she should be one of the ones that get a shoe, because that's business.
Now, here is where the haters come in, and they came in loud. Comments started flying the moment this shoe announcement dropped. The most common argument: she averages around 8 points a game, career scoring average of 8.0 points per game, going back across her entire WNBA career, and the critics ran with that number like it was the final word on whether Sophie Cunningham deserves a signature shoe. You have seen these comments. There are better players who deserve this more. Some of them ran longer pieces about it, some of them turned it into a whole debate on X, and a chunk of them were very specific about which players they thought should have gotten shoes instead of her, and very specific in a way that revealed exactly what was actually driving the argument.
Based off of racism, because this player in her career has averaged 8 points, 2.8 rebounds, and 1.4 assists. Shoes used to mean something. It was like you are at the top of your game in your sport. Players like Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops, Diana Taurasi, Sabrina Ionescu, Asia Wilson, Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, they're actually doing well in the sport. In the same way that in corporate America, white men utilize their privilege of being white men to continue to climb the ladder, Sophie Cunningham has used her proximity to Caitlin Clark and her racist fan base in order to propel herself forward when people who actually deserve it are not given that opportunity.
Let's talk about the race part of this, because it is not subtle. The backlash against Sophie Cunningham getting this shoe is connected to the same current that has been running through WNBA commentary for 2 years now. Some of the criticism is genuine, not a sports argument about marketing priorities and visibility. That exists, but a significant portion of the hate that gets directed at Cunningham, at her popularity, at the attention she draws, it comes from people who are specifically upset that she and Caitlin Clark get the spotlight, and when they say undeserving, what they mean is more specific than stats. Caitlin Clark spoke about it publicly and said the racism coming from her own fan base was not acceptable. Sue Bird said fans were being racist toward WNBA players long before Clark arrived, and that Clark was being used as a pawn in a culture war she did not create. This is the environment. This is the backdrop. And when Sophie Cunningham announces a shoe, and the first response from a loud section of the internet is, she is undeserving, that word is doing a lot of work.
What resources does the league provide for you guys as players to kind of help you try to filter through some of the hate and things that, negative things that come through on social media?
I think that honestly, I don't know what our league does to help with that. If they really do anything, you can put out statements as much as you want, but at the end of the day, you're in an entertainment business. That's when mental toughness comes in. If you're gonna live by praise, you're gonna die by the hate, and so I think that's on the individual person to have mental toughness. Some people can deal with it, some people can't, and I think you can see the ones who can, and unfortunately there are some who can't, and it's not beneficial to them, but you can't control what other people say or what other people do. All you can do is control yourself, how you treat people, speak up, and support people who, athletes maybe don't have a voice or don't have the courage to do that, but it's one of those things. You're in the entertainment business and you have to expect it.
Because here is the actual argument about whether Cunningham deserves this shoe, and it has nothing to do with points per game. She is the WNBA's second most popular player right now. She was the most searched female athlete in the United States on Google last year. She has a viral moment that spread further than almost any single WNBA clip in the history of the sport. She has an authentic, documented relationship with Adidas that goes back to 2022. She switched to them from Nike and has been promoting the brand at every opportunity since, including on national television. And in her own social media, popularity is the product, and Sophie Cunningham, with 8 career points per game and a 22-second pointing clip that reached every corner of the internet, is more famous right now than the majority of WNBA players who have better statistical resumes.
Here we go! This is gonna be fun. Everyone gets one, and I have like 6, 7 pairs here.
Oh, 6, 7? Oh, 6, see? They're real. They're real.
Only All-Stars wear them. That's why mine are still in the box.
Sophie Cunningham?
I'm busy.
Wow! Thank you.
And look, the stats argument is genuinely the weakest possible argument here. Do you think shoe companies have never given a player exclusive to someone averaging single-digit points? Do you think popularity and brand fit do not factor in